What do you know about the Siege of Stirling Castle? Was it a defining moment in the Scottish Wars of Independence? The aftermath of William Wallace's defeat at the Battle of Falkirk in 1298 was a turning point in the Scottish Wars of Independence. Edward I of England, also known as Longshanks for his tall stature, embarked on a systematic campaign to bring Scotland under English control. This period, spanning 6 years, culminated in the pivotal Siege of Stirling Castle in 1304. The siege not only exemplified the technological and strategic advancements of medieval warfare, but also highlighted the complex political and social dynamics at play during this tumultuous period. Edward I campaign. From Falkirk to Stirling. The Battle of Falkirk was a devastating blow to Scottish resistance, but it did not mark the end of the conflict. Edward I, determined to crush the Scottish rebellion, faced a country still rife with defiance. His campaign was not merely a military endeavor, but also a calculated political strategy to dismantle Scottish sovereignty and integrate the region into the English crown's domain. Edward's approach involved both the deployment of formidable military forces and the strategic use of alliances and coercion to weaken Scottish resolve. In the years following Falkirk, Edward's forces systematically subdued various Scottish strongholds. The resistance, however, was resilient, with many Scots continuing to resist English rule. This period saw the rise of figures such as Robert the Bruce, who would later play a crucial role in Scotland's fight for independence. The final significant bastion of resistance was Stirling Castle, a fortress of immense strategic and symbolic importance. Located near the River Forth, Stirling Castle was a key defensive position and a gateway to the Highlands, making it a crucial objective for Edward's campaign. The Siege of Stirling Castle, military engineering and strategy. The Siege of Stirling Castle began in April 1304, as Edward I gathered his forces and prepared to assault the fortress. Edward's army was equipped with a variety of siege engines, reflecting the technological sophistication of the time. These included 12 powerful machines capable of launching projectiles such as metal balls, stripped from the roofs of nearby churches, Greek fire, stone balls, and an early form of gunpowder mixture. The inclusion of sulfur and saltpeter, components of gunpowder, indicates an early understanding of the destructive potential of chemical compounds in warfare. The use of these siege engines demonstrates the importance of engineering in medieval military strategy. Edward's forces sought to breach the castle's defenses through sustained bombardment, undermining the walls and demoralizing the defenders. The psychological aspect of siege warfare was significant, as the relentless assault aimed to break the spirit of the garrison and compel them to surrender. Edward's impatience with the slow progress of the siege led him to order the construction of a massive trebuchet, known as the Warwolf. The Warwolf was a marvel of medieval engineering, representing the pinnacle of trebuchet design. Capable of hurling massive stones with devastating force, the Warwolf was not only a tool of destruction but also a psychological weapon. Its construction was a statement of Edward's determination to subdue Stirling Castle at any cost. The presence of such a formidable siege engine was intended to send a clear message to the defenders. Resistance was futile, and surrender was inevitable. The garrison's ordeal and surrender. The garrison at Stirling Castle, led by Sir William Oliphant, faced an increasingly desperate situation as the siege dragged on. Comprising 30 defenders, the garrison endured a relentless bombardment for 4 months. The situation inside the castle became increasingly dire as supplies dwindled and casualties mounted. Despite these hardships, the defenders held out, demonstrating remarkable resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. The turning point came with the deployment of the Warwolf. The sight of this immense trebuchet being assembled, coupled with its potential destructive power, had a profound impact on the morale of the defenders. Recognizing the futility of continued resistance and the inevitability of the castle's fall, the garrison sought terms of surrender. However, Edward, demonstrating his characteristic ruthlessness, refused to accept their surrender until the Warwolf had been tested. On July 24, 1304, after the Warwolf had been employed to breach the castle's defenses, the garrison finally capitulated. Edward, perhaps unexpectedly, displayed a degree of clemency. Despite his previous threats, he spared the lives of the Scots in the garrison. This act of mercy was likely a calculated decision aimed at mitigating further resentment and rebellion. However, Edward did order the execution of one Englishman who had previously surrendered the castle to the Scots, signaling his disdain for treachery and betrayal. Sir William Oliphant, the commander of the garrison, was taken prisoner and later imprisoned in the Tower of London. His fate reflects the harsh realities of medieval warfare and the treatment of captured leaders. Oliphant's imprisonment was not merely a punitive measure, but also a strategic decision to neutralize a prominent Scottish leader and prevent him from rallying further resistance. Broader implications and historical analysis. The Siege of Stirling Castle holds significant historical importance beyond the immediate military victory. It marked a critical juncture in Edward I's campaign to assert control over Scotland. The use of advanced siege technology, particularly the Warwolf, exemplified the increasing role of engineering and logistics in medieval warfare. This technological prowess was indicative of the broader changes occurring in military strategy during the late 13th and early 14th centuries, where the effectiveness of fortified positions could be significantly diminished by sophisticated siege engines. Moreover, the Siege of Stirling Castle highlighted the complexities of medieval rulership and the exercise of power. Edward's decision to spare the garrison, despite his earlier threats, suggests a nuanced approach to governance. It reflects an understanding that outright brutality could engender further resistance, while acts of clemency could serve to pacify and integrate conquered territories. However, this leniency was selective, as evidenced by the execution of the English defector, underscoring Edward's commitment to punishing disloyalty. The political ramifications of the siege were profound. The fall of Stirling Castle effectively ended organized Scottish resistance, allowing Edward to impose English rule more firmly. This period saw the implementation of policies aimed at consolidating English authority, including the placement of English officials in key positions and the establishment of English law. However, the imposition of foreign rule generated significant resentment and laid the groundwork for future uprisings. Legacy and historical significance. The legacy of the Siege of Stirling Castle extends beyond its immediate military and political outcomes. It served as a precursor to the subsequent resurgence of Scottish resistance, particularly under the leadership of Robert the Bruce. The brutality and harshness of Edward's campaigns contributed to a growing sense of Scottish national identity and resistance against foreign domination. The events at Stirling, coupled with the broader context of the Wars of Independence, helped to galvanize the Scottish population and foster a spirit of defiance that would culminate in the famous victory at the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314. In historical scholarship, the Siege of Stirling Castle is often cited as a key example of the transition from feudal to more centralized forms of military and political organization. The use of advanced siege technology and the strategic considerations involved in the siege reflect broader trends in the medieval period, where the power of monarchies was increasingly asserted through military innovation and administrative control. Conclusion. The Siege of Stirling Castle in 1304 stands as a defining moment in the Scottish Wars of Independence. It encapsulates the interplay of military technology, political strategy, and social dynamics that characterize the conflict. Edward I's campaign, marked by the use of sophisticated siege engines and a combination of clemency and ruthlessness, highlights the complexities of medieval warfare and governance. The siege's aftermath, particularly the treatment of the garrison and the political consolidation that followed, underscores the challenges of imposing and maintaining control over a resistant population. The historical significance of the siege lies not only in its immediate outcomes, but also in its lasting impact on Scottish and English history. It serves as a reminder of the enduring struggle for sovereignty and self-determination, themes that resonate throughout the history of the British Isles. As such, the Siege of Stirling Castle remains a critical episode in the study of medieval history, offering valuable insights into the nature of conflict, power, and resistance during this pivotal period. Thanks for listening. like, and comment. Please subscribe as it helps our channel grow so that we can reach more viewers. See you next time on Medieval Chronicles 1066. Stay curious.